Hey guys, and welcome to Audio White Papers. Today I'm going to be reading the Dash White Paper. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. And if you really like what we're doing, please donate using the addresses listed in the description or the QR codes next to me. The material I'm reading is not mine at all. I'm only reading what the authors have written here in the Dash White Paper. And if you have any recommendations, please send us an email at audiowhitepapers@gmail.com or leave us a comment below. And with that, I bring you the Dash White Paper. Dash, a privacy-centric cryptocurrency. This information is current as of April 8th, 2018. Abstract, a cryptocurrency-based Bitcoin, the work of Satoshi Nakamoto, with various improvements such as a two-tiered incentivized network known as the Masternode network. Included are other improvements such as private send for increasing fungibility and instant send, which allows instant transaction confirmation without a centralized authority. 1. Introduction. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that has emerged as a popular medium of exchange and is the first digital currency that has attracted a substantial number of users. Since its inception in 2009, Bitcoin has been rapidly growing in mainstream adoption and merchant usage. A main issue with the acceptance of Bitcoin in point-of-sale situations is the time required to wait for the network to confirm the transaction made is valid. Alternatively, payment companies have created methods to allow vendors to take zero confirmation transactions, but these solutions utilize a trusted counterparty to mediate the transaction outside of the protocol. Bitcoin provides pseudonymous transactions in a public ledger with a one-to-one relationship between sender and receiver. This provides a permanent record of all transactions that have ever taken place on the network. Bitcoin is widely known in academic circles to provide a low level of privacy, although with this limitation, many people still entrust their financial history to its blockchain. Dash is the first privacy-centric cryptographic currency based on the work of Satoshi Nakamoto. In this paper, we propose a series of improvements to Bitcoin, resulting in a decentralized, strongly anonymous cryptocurrency, with tamper-proof instant transactions and a secondary peer-to-peer network incentivized to provide services to the Dash network. 2. Masternode network. Full nodes are servers running on a P2P network that allows peers to use them to receive updates about the events on the network. These nodes require a significant amount of traffic and other resources that carry substantial cost. As a result, on the Bitcoin network, a steady decrease in the amount of these nodes has been observed for some time, and as a result, block propagation have been upwards of 40 seconds. Many solutions have been proposed, such as a new reward scheme by Microsoft Research and the BitNodes incentive program. These nodes are very important to the health of the network. They provide clients with the ability to synchronize and quick propagation of messages throughout the network. We propose adding a secondary network known as the Dash Masternode network. These nodes will have high availability and provide a required level of service to the network in order to take part in the Masternode reward program. 2.1. Masternode reward program, cost and payments. Much of the reason for the decrease of full nodes on the Bitcoin network is the lack of incentive to run one. Over time, the cost of running a full node increases as the network gets used more, creating more bandwidth and costing the operator more money. As the cost rises, operators consolidate their services to be cheaper to run or run a light client, which does not help the network at all. Masternodes are full nodes, just like in the Bitcoin network, except they must provide a level of service to the network and have a bond of collateral to participate. Collateral is never forfeit and is safe while the masternode is operating. This allows investors to provide a service to the network, earn interest on their investment, and reduce the volatility of the currency. To run a masternode, the node must store 1,000 Dash. When active, nodes provide services to clients on the network and in return are paid in the form of a dividend. This allows the users to pay for the services and earn a return on investment. Masternodes are all paid from the same pool of money. Approximately 45% of the total block reward is dedicated to this program. Due to the fact that the Masternode rewards program is a fixed percentage and the Masternode network nodes are fluctuating, expected Masternode rewards will vary according to the current total count of active masternodes. Payments for a standard day of running a masternode can be calculated by using the following formula: N/T multiplied by R multiplied by B multiplied by A, where N is the number of masternodes an operator controls, T is the total number of masternodes, R is the current block reward, presently averaging about 5 dash. B is blocks in an average day. For the Dash network, this is usually 576. A is the average Masternode payment, 45% of the average block amount. Return on investment for running a Masternode can be calculated as N over T multiplied by R multiplied by B multiplied by A multiplied by 365, all divided by 1000, where variables are the same as above. The cost associated with running a Masternode creates a hard and soft limit of active nodes on the network. Currently, with 5.3 million Dash in circulation, only 5,300 nodes could possibly be running on the network. The soft limit is imposed by the price it costs to acquire a node and the limited liquidity on exchanges due to usage of Dash as a currency and not merely an investment. 2.2. Deterministic ordering. A special deterministic algorithm is used to create a pseudo-random ordering of the masternodes. By using the hash from the proof of work of each block, security of this functionality will be provided by the mining network. See the pseudocode for selecting a masternode below. The example code can be extended further to provide rankings of masternodes, also a second, third, fourth masternode in the list to be selected. 2.3. Trustless quorums. Currently, the Dash network has about 2,400 active masternodes. By requiring 1,000 Dash collateral to become an active masternode, we create a system in which no one can control the entire network of masternodes. For example, if someone wants to control 50% of the masternode network, they would have to buy 2,300,000 Dash from the open market. This would raise the price substantially, and it would become impossible to acquire the needed Dash. With the addition of the masternode network and the collateral requirements, we can use this secondary network to do highly sensitive tasks in a trustless way, where no single entity can control the outcome. By selecting n pseudo-random masternodes from the total pool to perform the same task, these nodes can act as an oracle, without having the whole network to do the task. For an example, implementation of a trustless quorum, see instant send, which uses quorums to approve transactions and lock the inputs or the proof of service implementation. Another example used for trustless quorums can include utilizing the masternode network as a decentralized oracle for financial markets, making secure decentralized contracts a possibility. As an example contract, if Apple's stock is over 300 on December 31st, 2016, pay public key A, otherwise pay public key B. 2.4. Roles and proof of service. Masternodes can provide any number of extra services to the network. As a proof of concept, our first implementation included private send and instant send. By utilizing what we call proof of service, we can require that these nodes are online, responding, and even at the correct block height. Bad actors could also run masternodes, but not provide any of the quality service that is required of the rest of the network. To reduce the possibility of people using the system to their advantage, nodes must ping the rest of the network to ensure they remain active. This work is done by the masternode network by selecting 2 quorums per block. Quorum A checks the service of quorum B each block. Quorum A are the closest nodes to the current block hash, while quorum B are the furthest nodes from said hash. See example below. All work done to check the network to prove that nodes are active is done by the masternode network itself. Approximately 1% of the network will be checked each block. This results in the entire network being checked about 6 times per day. In order to keep the system trustless, we select nodes randomly via the quorum system. Then we also require a minimum of 6 violations in order to deactivate the node. In order to trick this system, an attacker will need to be selected 6 times in a row. Otherwise, violations will be cancelled out by the system as other nodes are selected by the quorum system. See Table 1 below. The selection of masternodes is pseudo-random based on the quorum system. 2.5. Masternode Protocol. The masternodes are propagated around the network using a series of protocol extensions, including a masternode announce message and a masternode ping message. These 2 messages are all that is needed to make the node active on the network. Beyond these, there are other messages for executing a proof of service request, private send, and instant send. Masternodes are originally formed by sending 1,000 Dash to a specific address in a wallet that will activate the node making it capable of being propagated across the network. A second private key is created that is used for signing all further messages. The latter key allows the wallet to be completely locked when running in a standalone mode. A cold mode is made possible by utilizing the secondary private key on two separate machines. The primary hot client signs the 1000- input, including the secondary signing private key in the message. Soon after, the cold client sees a message including its secondary key and activates as a masternode. This allows the hot client to be deactivated, client turned off, and leaves no possibility of an attacker gaining access to the 1000- by gaining access to the masternode after activation. Upon starting, a masternode sends a masternode announce message to the network containing message 1K-input, reachable IP address, signature, signature time, 1K-public key, secondary public key, donation public key, donation percentage. Every 15 minutes thereafter, a ping message is sent proving the node is still alive. Message 1K-input, signature, using secondary key, signature time, stop. After a time to live has expired, the network will remove an inactive node from the network, causing the node to not be used by clients or paid. Nodes can also ping the network constantly, but if they do not have their ports open, they will eventually be flagged as inactive and not be paid. 2.6. Propagation of the masternode list. New clients entering the Dash network must be made aware of the currently active masternodes on the network to be able to utilize their services. As soon as they join the mesh network, a command is sent to their peers asking for the known list of masternodes. A cache object is used for the clients to record masternodes and their current status, so when clients restart, they will simply load this file rather than asking for the full list of masternodes. 2.7. Payments via mining and enforcement. To ensure that each masternode is paid its fair share of the block reward, a network must enforce that blocks pay the correct masternode. If a miner is non-compliant, their blocks must be rejected by the network, otherwise cheating will be incentivized. We propose a strategy where masternodes form quorums, select a winning masternode, and broadcast their message. After n messages have been broadcast to select the same target payee, a consensus will be formed, and that block in question will be required to pay that masternode. When mining on the network, Pool Software, websites that merge the efforts to individual miners, will use the RPC API interface to get information about how to make a block. To pay the masternodes, this interface must be extended by adding a secondary payee to getBlockTemplate. Pools then propagate their successfully mined blocks with a split payment between themselves and a masternode. 3. Private send. We believe it is important to have a standard trustless implementation for improving the privacy of its users in the reference client that provides a high degree of privacy. Other clients such as Electrum, Android, and iPhone will also have the same anonymity layer implemented directly and utilize the protocol extensions. This allows users a common experience, anonymizing funds using a well-understood system. Private Send is an improved and extended version of the coin join. In addition to the core concept of coin join, we employ a series of improvements such as decentralization, strong anonymity by using a chaining approach, denominations, and passive ahead-of-time mixing. The greatest challenge when improving privacy and fungibility of a cryptocurrency is doing it in a way that does not obscure the entire blockchain. In Bitcoin-based cryptocurrencies, one can tell which outputs are unspent and which are not, commonly called UTXO, which stands for Unspent Transaction Output. This results in a public ledger that allows any user to act as guarantor of the integrity of transactions. The Bitcoin protocol is designed to function without the participation of trusted counterparties. In their absence, it is critical that auditing capabilities remain readily accessible to the users through the public blockchain. Our goal is to improve privacy and fungibility without losing these key elements that we believe make a successful currency. By having a decentralized mixing service within the currency, we gain the ability to keep the currency itself perfectly fungible. Fungibility is an attribute of money that dictates that all units of a currency should remain equal. When you receive money within a currency, it should not come with any history from the previous users of the currency, or the users should have an easy way to disassociate themselves from that history, thus keeping all coins equal. At the same time, any user should be able to act as an auditor to guarantee the financial integrity of the public ledger without compromising others' privacy. To improve the fungibility and keep the integrity of the public blockchain, we propose using an ahead-of-time decentralized trustless mixing strategy. To be effective at keeping the currency fungible, this service is directly built into the currency, easy to use, and safe for the average user. 3.1. Tracing CoinJoin buy amounts. A common strategy in existing Bitcoin implementations of CoinJoin is simply merging transactions together. This exposes the users to various methods of following the user's coins through these joined transactions. See Figure 2 below. In this transaction, 0.05 BTC was sent through the mixer. To identify the source of the money, one simply has to add up the values on the right until they match the ones on the left. Breaking apart the transaction, 0.05 plus 0.0499 plus 0.0001 fee equals 0.1 BTC. 0.0499 plus 0.059408182 plus 0.0001 fee is equal to 0.10940182 BTC. This gets exponentially more difficult as more users are added to the mixer. However, these sessions can be retroactively de-anonymized at any point in the future. 3.2. Through linking and forward linking. In other proposed implementations of CoinJoin, it is possible that a user anonymizes money, then eventually sends change from that transaction to an exchange or other entity that knows the user's identity. This breaks the anonymity and allows the entity to walk backwards through that user's transactions. We call this type of attack forward linking. See Figure 3 below. In this example, Alice anonymizes 1.2 BTC, which goes to two outputs, 1 BTC and 0.2 BTC. She then spends 0.7 BTC from the 1 BTC output, receiving change of 0.3 BTC. That 0.3 BTC then goes to an identifiable source, confirming Alice also spent the 0.7 BTC in the prior transaction. To identify the sender of the anonymous transaction, start at the exchange transaction and go backwards in the blockchain until you get to the Alice sends 0.7 BTC anonymously. As the exchange, you know it was your user who just recently bought something anonymously, thus breaking the anonymity completely. We call this type of attack through change linking. See Figure 4 below. In the second example, Alice buys 1.2 BTC from Coinbase, then anonymizes this amount into 1 BTC output. She then spends the 1 BTC, receives change in the amount of 0.3 BTC, and then combines that with her 0.2 BTC earlier change. By combining the change from the anonymous transaction, 0.3 BTC, and the change she received from the CoinJoin transaction, you can link the entire history before and after, completely breaking the anonymity. 3.3. Improved privacy and denial of service resistance. Private send uses the fact that a transaction can be formed by multiple parties and made out to multiple parties to merge funds together in a way where they cannot be uncoupled thereafter. Given that all private send transactions are set up for users to pay themselves, the system is highly secure against theft, and users' coins always remain safe. Currently, to mix using private send requires at least 3 participants. See Figure 5 below. To improve the privacy of the system as a whole, we propose using common denominations of 0.1-, 1-, 10-, and 100-. In each mixing session, all users should submit the same denominations as inputs and outputs. In addition to denominations, fees should be removed from the transactions and charged in bulk in separate, sporadic, unlinkable transactions. To address the possible DOS attack, we propose all users submit a transaction as collateral to the pool when joining. This transaction will be made out to themselves and will pay a high fee to miners. In the case when a user submits a request to the mixing pool, they must provide collateral at the beginning of this exchange. If at any point any user fails to cooperate, by refusing to sign for example, the collateral transaction will automatically be broadcasted. This will make it expensive to do a sustained attack on the privacy network. 3.4. Passive anonymization of funds and chaining. Private send is limited to 1,000 dash per session, and requires multiple sessions to thoroughly anonymize significant amounts of money. To make the user experience easy and make timing attacks very difficult, Private Send runs in a passive mode. At set intervals, a user's client will request to join other clients via a masternode. Upon entry into the masternode, a queue object is propagated throughout the network detailing the denominations the user is looking to anonymize, but no information that can be used to identify the user. Each Private Send session can be thought of as an independent event, increasing the anonymity of users' funds. However, each session is limited to 3 clients, so an observer has a 1 in 3 chance of being able to follow a transaction. To increase the quality of anonymity provided, a chaining approach is employed, which funds are sent through multiple masternodes, one after the other. See Table 2 below. 3.5. Security considerations. As transactions are merged, masternodes can possibly snoop on users' funds as they pass through. This is not considered a serious limitation due to the requirement for masternodes to hold 1000 dash and the fact that users utilize random masternodes that they select to host their joins. The probability of following a transaction throughout a chaining event can be calculated as follows. See Table 3 below, where n is the total number of nodes controlled by the attacker, t is the total number of masternodes in the network, r is the depth of the chain, the selection of masternodes is random. Considering the limited supply of Dash, 5.3 million at the time of this writing, April 2015, and the low liquidity available on the market, it becomes an impossibility to attain a large enough number of masternodes to succeed at such an attack. Extending the system by blinding masternodes to the transactions taking place on their node will also greatly enhance the security of the system. 3.6. Masternode blinding via relay system. In section 3.4, we describe the probabilities of following a single transaction through multiple sessions of Private Send mixing. This can further be addressed by blinding masternodes so they cannot see which inputs, outputs belong to which users. To do this, we propose a simple relay system that users can use to protect their identity. Instead of a user submitting the inputs and outputs directly into the pool, they will pick a random masternode from the network and request that it relays the inputs, outputs, signatures to the target masternode. This means that the masternode will receive n sets of inputs, outputs, and n sets of signatures. Each set belongs to one of the users, but the masternode can't know which belongs to which. 4. Instant transactions via instant send. By utilizing masternode quorums, users are able to send and receive instant irreversible transactions. Once a quorum has been formed, the inputs of the transaction are locked to only be spendable in a specific transaction. A transaction lock takes about 4 seconds to be set currently on the network. If consensus is reached on a lock by the masternode network, all conflicting transactions or conflicting blocks would be rejected thereafter unless they match the exact transaction ID of the lock in place. This will allow vendors to use mobile devices in place of traditional POS systems for real-world commerce and users to quickly settle face-to-face non-commercial transactions as with traditional cash. This is done without a central authority. An extensive overview of this feature can be found in the Instant Send white paper. 5. Additional improvements. 5.1. X11 hashing algorithm. X11 is a widely used hashing algorithm which takes a different approach known as algorithm chaining. X11 consists of all 11 SHA-3 contestants. Each hash is calculated, then submitted to the next algorithm in the chain. By using multiple algorithms, the likelihood that an ASIC is created for the currency is minimal until a later part of its life cycle. In the life cycle of Bitcoin, mining began with hobbyists which used central processing units, CPUs, to mine the currency. Then shortly after, graphics processing units, GPUs, software was created, which quickly replaced the CPUs. Years after the GPU's cycle, ASICs, or application-specific integrated circuits, were created, which quickly replaced the GPUs. Due to the complexity and die size required to create an ASIC for mining X11, we expect that it will take considerably longer than it did in Bitcoin, allowing for hobbyists to take part in the mining for a longer period of time. We believe this is highly important for good distribution and growth of a cryptocurrency. Another benefit of the chaining hashing approach is the high-end CPUs give an average return similar to that of GPUs. Also, GPUs have been reported to run 30 to 50% cooler with less wattage than the script algorithm used by most current cryptocurrencies. 5.2 Mining Supply. A different approach to restricting the inflation of mining is taken in Dash, using a 7% reduction of the supply per year. This is done as opposed to halving implemented by other currencies. In addition, supply each block is directly tied to the amount of miners on the network. More miners result in lower mining rewards. Production of Dash is scheduled to carry on throughout this century and on to the next, slowly grinding down until finally near the year 2150 production will cease. See Figure 6 below. 6. Conclusion. This paper introduces various concepts to improve the design of Bitcoin, resulting in improved privacy and fungibility for the average user, less price volatility, and quicker message propagation throughout the network. This is all accomplished by utilizing an incentivized two-tier model rather than the existing single-tier model in other cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. By utilizing this alternative network design, it becomes possible to add many types of services such as decentralized mixing of coins, instant transactions, and decentralized oracles using Masternode quorums. See references below. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that reading of the Dash white paper. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, tell a friend, and if you really like what we're doing, please donate using the addresses listed in the description below. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks a lot for listening.